Benvenuti e buon pomeriggio a tutti. Sono Ornella Bignami e da molti anni mi occupo della filiera del lino e in particolare del lino europeo. I am pleased to introduce today Marie Demaegdt, Textile and Sustainability Manager of the Allianz, who will present and explain the new identity of what is today the Allianz and its objectives. Up to you, Marie.
Thank you, Ornella. To start, I propose that we watch a short movie about our new alliance.
For European Flax-Linen and Hemp.
Allianz per il lino e la canapa.
Allianz für europäisches Körper.
Allianz du lin et du chanvre européen.
Allianz für europäisches Leinen und Hanf.
Europinu ir kanapių alianz.
Allianz voor Europees Flax-Linen.
Są już na rzecz europejskiego linu. Alianza per il lino i cáñamo europeo.
Alianza para el lino y el cáñamo europeos.
Alliance for European Flax-Linen and Hemp.
So the Alliance for European Flax-Linen and Hemp, formerly known as the European Confederation of Flax and Hemp, is the global reference uniting the players at each stage of our agro-industry, gathering more than 10,000 companies in 16 European countries. And its missions are to inform, to support the European ecosystem, and to promote European flax-linen and hemp.
We know that flax and linen are often considered an European specificity. How will the Alliance protect and enhance the European quality of these fibers?
Indeed, linen is really a European exception and leadership. The flax fiber is from Western Europe, and here I would like to clarify the terms of flax and linen. In Italiano, lino e lino e basta. In English, we have two words. Flax is for the plant and the fiber, and linen is for textiles and finished products. Lin is same as in Italian, yeah, one word. So this flax fiber is produced in France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and together these three countries produce 80% of the world production of flax fiber. And that represents 140,000 hectares last year. The surfaces have increased. In the last 10 years, they have more than doubled to meet the rising demand. Still, our sector remains quite small because flax linen is only 0.4% of fibers worldwide. This is also a leadership in terms of quality. Also, the combination of the territory, the climate, and the know-how makes the flax cultivation non-relocatable elsewhere in the world. Nowhere do you find the same unique combination. Today, we also see a rising reindustrialization, and especially in the spinning area, where we always have we were lucky to always maintain European linen spinning. We have today 6 mills running in Europe, but also new mills are opening, and 3 more are in project in France and in Portugal. And this European flax fiber is also a leader in terms of responsibility, protecting people and the planet, and being traced through European Flax and Masters of Linen, which I will detail later. So our new name, our new alliance, is also the opportunity to develop our trajectory and to make this statement that our objective is to become the preferred sustainable premium fibers worldwide. And how do we plan to achieve that? First, the trajectory has its roots in our European flax, linen, and hemp ecosystem. An ecosystem that is united, that is organized, and that is deeply committed. Second, and this is key in our trajectory, to build on sustainable innovation, that I will also explain later. And third, to guarantee quality and desirability. And quality, that means developing a framework for the description of the quality of the fiber and working on digital tools. And desirability, of course.
Yeah, desirability is a very important word, especially when you talk about fashion. And how do you motivate the desirability of European flax linen and the characteristic of the fiber are so peculiar for the industry and for the consumers today?
Yes, linen desirability builds on its versatility, which is really inspiring for industry and designers in its main end markets, which are fashion for 60%, home for 30%, and 10% for new technical textiles and composites. But it also builds on the intrinsic performance of the fiber, what we call remarkable properties. Here, some of the main features for textiles. That was tested in lab studies because we are always obsessed by the proof and the scientific evidence. So linen's superior qualities of breathability, thermoregulation, moisture management were tested in laboratory study by CT Lab, proving superior to cotton, viscose, and synthetic fibers. Some of the remarkable properties in terms of technical textiles and composites are lightness, resistance, insulation, as well as vibration absorption for sports equipment, for instance, for automotive, for new performance markets.
Yes, sustainability is not anymore a choice. It's absolutely an objective for all of us. Sustainable products must respect not only the environment but also people. What makes flax and hemp so particularly sustainable as far as the European fibers are concerned?
Indeed, sustainability is one of the most remarkable properties of European flax. It's built on flax itself, which is a sober crop, but also on the sustainable practices that are implemented by the farmers and the fiber producers, and that are guaranteed by the European flax certification. I will not list them all, it would take a long time, but the most important ones, I think, is that the crop in Western Europe doesn't need irrigation, except in some exceptional circumstances. So we can say today, no irrigation. Tomorrow that will need to be assessed, of course, to meet climate change. It's GMO-free, and it's grown in crop rotation, meaning alternating the growing of flax with other crops, usually food crops. And this is really a responsible practice that enables to respect the soil and prevents from using too much chemical. So it's possible, thanks to growing flax, to use very little fertilizer and pesticide, and that improves soil quality, and it also improves the yield of the next crop. It's a zero waste fiber because all the plant is used, and it's of course ethical in its production, meeting the requirements of the International Labour Organization. So in our trajectory, one very important first step was to measure the impacts of all these sustainable practices, and that was done through LCA. Our industry has been one of the pioneers in the life cycle assessment since the first study we published in 2008. And now we are the first agro-industrial sector who is able to measure its impact using the most robust and reliable method, which is the PEF, the Product Environmental Footprint, implemented by the European Commission. So we started with assessing the fiber, the raw material, of course, but we are also involved in co-constructing the PEF method for apparel and footwear, as we are a voting member of the Technical Secretariat. So this life cycle assessment of the European flax fiber, which is PEF compliant, was released 1 year ago, and it's available in open source, so you can download it from our website. It's completely transparent because all the data are available in clear, including the crop technical itinerary, meaning how it's made, how it's grown, what are the quantities of fertilizer used. Every data is transparent. It is non-comparative because our objective is not to compare to other fibers. Our objective is to give reliable data that industry and brands will be able to use to measure the footprint of their products. Some of the key learnings are to confirm that it's a remarkably low impact crop, and especially if you look at the figures, the impact on water consumption is extremely small. 2% of our impact is connected to water, and eutrophication, even smaller, 1% of the impact, and that is due to a very low use of fertilizer. So the next steps are to engage the whole value chain in this trajectory, and that is, since now 1 year, we have started engaging all the steps of transformation. That means 11 steps of transformation, both on long fiber and short fiber, to gather the data and to publish data, collective data, on the average on the EU level. Also working with fashion brands to test the PEF, apparel rules. And this work for us is really important, not only to work on a collective trajectory, but also to develop and co-construct tools with our members so that they can also develop their own individual trajectory. By working together, it will neutralize the effort and make it much more easier for an individual company to publish their own data and meet the demands of their clients.
Well, you have already mentioned that some of the interesting supports Allianz is going to give to the industry to push, to promote the use of these special fibers. But which other tools and actions are you programming for the future?
So halfway through this work on collective data, we have published this first tool, which is the mapping of the industrial processes of Flax-Linen. And this document is here. So if you would like to have it, to study in more depth what are all the very complex processes for transformation, what we noticed is that for brands, they do not always have the clear perception of the complexity of the value chain. And when you start talking about long fiber, short fiber, hackling, combing, carding, all these steps, we feel it is really helpful to see them on this kind of mapping. And this is the first step when the brand will need to calculate their impacts. That will be to map their value chain and identify all the processes involved. And it's also, of course, available on our website in open source. And another very key element is traceability. One of our members used to say, there is no sustainability without traceability. And indeed, this is key. And our industry has collectively developed the European Flax traceability certification to guarantee these fibers grown in Western Europe with sustainable practices and also with third-party verified traceability by Bureau Veritas. The added value for the industry who uses certified fibers is, of course, having reliable environmental data, having this performance and remarkable properties, and also the marketing support. So European Flax is really the base, the foundation for the traceability of our fiber. And it's available for the textile industry as European Flax certification for the global value chains. And you can see the figures. There's a real boom in the certification of companies. The number of certified companies was multiplied by 7 in just 3 years. And there's the Masters of Linen certification, which is for products made of European flax fibers, which are then processed by textile companies, so spinners, weavers, and knitters, in European and Euromed sites. So this one is for the local value chains. And as I was saying, we really see a lot of interest in local production for linen which is transformed in Europe, as you can see in the number of spinning mills that are opening in Europe, and that also translates in the interest of the brands for Masters of Linen certified linen. Traceability is also working with continuous improvement. So we are now continuously working on updating the agricultural standard, on updating the textile traceability standards for European flax and masters of linen, providing marketing support to boost sales of linen, communication support tools, and also have launched a digital traceability pilot in progress. So to sum up on this environmental trajectory, we have built on impact data. We are building on our traceability standards, European flax and masters of linen. And our aim in the next years will be to support each member's trajectories, implement digital traceability, and use them to foster continuous improvement on the practices and measure the progress towards our objectives. And that will still aim to meet the needs of the market, because we know that industry and brands are always, the demands are getting, this is key in the strategy of the brands. So, and our members can testify that the brands are asking every day for this. So we are all aligned to meet the demands of the markets, and of course, the upcoming regulation in progress.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to see what you have programmed to support the industry, but I'm sure you're also thinking about professionals, fashion professionals, and for the public. What are you going to do for them?
Yes. Our marketing strategy is closely connected to this trajectory, and would like to mention some of the great programs to accompany sales and marketing support. There is the Love Linen campaign that was also called I Love Linen, Amo il Lino, J'aime le lin. Something I would like also to invite you to is to participate in the field trips that we organize each year to visit the fields. As a local industry, we are lucky that they are not so far away, so it's easy to organize those field trips. And we are always open to supporting you for different needs. That can be assistance in sourcing, like we do on the trade shows, or in our Linen Dream Lab, which has a physical showroom and a digital platform. And this is part of this common trajectory.
Okay, thank you very much, Marie, for this very clear view on what Allianz is programming and doing in the future to support, I think, B2B and B2C, the sustainable premium fibers we were facing today. But I think it's also interesting to enhance the fact that there is an intense involvement in innovation. And also the other thing you mentioned, and I also agree, I believe is very important, is that all the information have a reliable scientific evidence, which is part of the sustainable concept for the future. Thank you very much. Se avete domande, ovviamente siamo a vostra disposizione, e nel caso abbiamo uno stand D10 nel corridoio centrale, se volete passare di nuovo da noi per magari vedere da vicino le documentazioni che Marie ha accennato. Ci sono domande?
Any questions?
Te lo dico in italiano, così,
Ok.
no, così capiscono tutti. Cioè, se utilizzo, sono un confezionista e utilizzo, diciamo, in maniera corretta il lino, Master of Lino, esageriamo, che cosa ho a disposizione per poter dire al pubblico che il mio lino è il lino e non è un lino che viene da chissà dove, come ne vediamo in innumerevoli occasioni.
Did you understand? He is asking if I am an apparel company and I use in the correct way fabrics, masters of linen. What do I have at my disposal with the support of the Allianz to explain to the consumers that this is the special fiber we are talking about and not any linen, sorry.
The marketing support for companies using certified linen relies on first storytelling, to tell the story of this unique material, where it comes from, how it's made, and also assistance in communicating the right claims. And today we hear that regulations and the market no longer accepts greenwashing or whatever. Even the regulation tells us some words. We can no longer use some words. There is the regulation on the green claims is coming, so we need to pay attention to use exactly the right wording. And sometimes brands, they are a little bit confused. Am I allowed to say this? How can I explain this? So one of the really day-to-day work that we do with brands is to help them proofread their communication and propose improvements. And that's even as important as offering nice photo material, nice video material, and etc. Also, I think that the support in the training is important, and in the shops, the salespeople are not always very, how would you say, knowledgeable about the fibers, and especially linen, because it's such a small part of the market. So we also provide trainings to help not only train the brands, but also their sales forces.
È chiaro, Vittorio?
Passavo l'altro giorno in San Babila e sono passato nello shop di diesel. Io con diesel non ho niente a che fare, sia chiaro, cioè, non indosso neanche i suoi jeans, quindi solo Levi's. E l'etichetta che veniva esposta con un QR code ti attira, ti dà la visibilità anche a uno come me che ha anche un telefono con qualche problema, di vedere tutto il mondo di diesel con tutte le certificazioni, e si è aperto un mondo inaspettato che forse anche guardando il website, dove ti rimandano generalmente, non hai. Quindi un label con un QR code ti apre il mondo, è questa che ci necessita secondo me, e io ho il diritto di usarlo come e quando voglio, capito?
È quello che stava dicendo Marie quando dice che oggi l'Allianz sta lavorando nel digitale per mettere a disposizione tutte queste informazioni, che sono tra l'altro delle informazioni, come dicevamo prima, certificate scientificamente, cioè non sono parole soltanto che raccontano per bene la storia, ma sono elementi certificati e sono parte del marchio che viene dato. Le parole, sottolineava Marie, sono molto importanti. Ci sono oggi delle parole che è importante usare, altre che è meglio non menzionare. Quindi lo storytelling è uno storytelling che va fatto anche con estrema attenzione per raccontare davvero che cosa sono le materie, come si lavorano, da dove arrivano, tutto quello che c'è dietro. Giustamente quello che comunque
sì, sarà
confermavi anche tu.
Il futuro e non adesso. Cioè,
certo.
se io
certo.
compro oggi una pezza di lino,
ma la
faccio
parte
le mie giacche, non
digitale
ci
ci dà assolutamente la possibilità di introdurre tutti questi elementi che altrimenti su un'unica etichettina ovviamente non ci stanno. I was saying that the digital possibility to implement the information.
Yes, if I may add, today our two traceability certifications rely on third-party verification. So European Flax is by Bureau Veritas, and Masters of Linen is by companies like Centrocot, for instance. And tomorrow, digital traceability will allow to reinforce. It will not replace audits. We believe that audits and digital tools can complement each other to give more scientific proof, of course, and also more detail and more granularity. Today, if you have a certified garment, certified to European Flax or Masters of Linen, you have the proof that the fiber is from Western Europe, and if it's Masters of Linen, that it was spun and woven or knitted by European companies in European sites or Euromed. But with digital traceability, you will also have, as you were saying, the full journey of the garment, which also can enhance the know-how, the expertise of each of the actors in the value chain. So that will be reinforced, and that will be for the consumer a much more personification of what the garment has lived as a journey.
Chiaro? Sì, a tutt'oggi i brand sono certificati da degli istituti esterni, Centrocot per Masters of Linen e Bureau Veritas per European Flax. Domani, con la possibilità attraverso il digitale, attraverso i QR code, di aggiungere tutte le altre informazioni, avremo veramente una ricchezza di informazioni comprovate e certificate scientificamente, che possono essere sicuramente di maggiore valore per il consumatore finale. Ok, se non ci sono altre domande vi invito comunque a passare da noi, D10, lo stand, siamo lì a vostra disposizione. Grazie per l'attenzione, buon pomeriggio.